Welcome back to the Yankee Chronicle, the who, what, where, and when show of the Lake Sunapee region. I'm your host, Laura James, filling in for Abby Peel. Now, we do know housing is a crazy proposition nowadays for young people and workers in the area. Let's now hear about a forum to address these issues.
On November 13th at 6 o'clock in the evening at Colby Sawyer College in Wheeler Hall, the Housing Commission is hosting a public forum to talk about a report and a study done by a consulting firm out of Massachusetts that helps us to understand existing land use patterns, the demographics of our town, and what housing opportunities might exist in the future. We were very fortunate in June of 2024, this year, we received a grant, a Housing Opportunity Program grant from the New Hampshire Housing Authority, Finance Authority, to do planning in our town, to understand what our town is like, what the demographics might be, how the land is being used, where current housing is, what does our town really have as far as facts and figures? What do we like? What is the town character that makes this place so special? And with those funds, we were able to work with a consultant, RKG, and also Steve Whitman's group called Resilience Planning and Design out of Plymouth, who are doing an excellent job in helping us first understand the facts about our town today. What are the trends and opportunities in the future? The next phase of this study, this planning grant that we have, is the envisioning stage, is now that we understand the facts of our town, how would we envision addressing this housing situation in the future? And what types of housing, where it might be located? What do we think it could best be placed and still fit within the concerns that we have for keeping our town and the character that it has? The last phase, if appropriate and if decided, the planning grant is to help us look at how to make those visions happen and whether or not the town is receptive to making visions happening. It may be that when we get to the end stage, we've studied it, we've envisioned it, and there may be some concern about increasing housing in the town. But at least we'll be fully educated, fully informed with these funds that come from New Hampshire Housing Finance Authority. Well, it's not just a New London problem. It's a regional problem. In fact, arguably, it's a national issue. And that is that the cost of housing has gone up so dramatically, both ownership and rental, that in the median incomes, the average incomes in any community, there is a shortage of housing. And we feel it here badly in New London. We're talking about housing for teachers and firefighters and nurses, and it's a real problem in that we want to attract them to build and continue the quality of life in our community, and yet there's no place for them to live. So the demographics I think we're going to see, and we'll find out on November 13th, the demographics that I think we're going to see as a pattern is that the older age cohorts, like myself, are coming to New London, and the younger cohorts, the younger age groups, are not. They're either not staying or they're not coming. And over time, that's a very, very dangerous situation for the quality of life in New London. So really, it's what we call middle market housing that we need. There are lots of expensive homes, and there's some very inexpensive ones, but we need middle market housing and we need rental housing. Now, some people say, well, this housing that we need, the units are going to be very small, or you can't live in an apartment forever. And perhaps that's true. But the important thing is it's a continuum. If you're a young person and you want to move to New London, you've got a great job offer, and you don't have a place to live, that's your first home. Or maybe your first apartment, and you're going to then move into a small home. But it's a continuum in that over time, you'll build a family, you'll build relationships, and you'll establish roots here that will help us all as a community. I would say, please come, please come. It's most important that we all as a community, every resident, every voter, build a knowledge base about what we are. It's so easy to respond to every March to a vote on an issue, whether it's regulatory change or whatever, without having done your homework, without having really understood the details. And I get it, it's complex stuff. But we now have a consultant who's helping us to encapsulate all that information, to study it and lay it out for us, just as they have with many other New England towns. So we understand what the facts are. So we make decisions on facts and not emotions or misinformation or not enough information. That's the beauty of it. And this is being hosted at Colby Sawyer College in Wheeler Hall. It's a wonderful venue. We will have RKG consultants there. We'll have refreshments, and it'll be a very comfortable setting so that we'll have a presentation and a real opportunity for the community to engage and ask questions and learn. Because I don't know about other people, but the way I learn is when I ask a question and I hear the answer. So please come. It's going to be very informative. It's going to lay the groundwork for a lot of good discussion going forward, and it's a key part of our outreach from the Housing Commission to learn what the community is interested in hearing about with respect to housing. And we'll have refreshments, so please come and engage, listen, and ask as many questions as you can to make it clearer.
Now, when we return, the final installment of an interview I did with Marion Hafner about pre-funeral planning. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this message from the underwriting businesses that keep YCN, your local view, coming to you.
This program is supported by the Innertown Record, your weekly hometown community newspaper covering the Kearsarge-Sunapee Sunshine region of New Hampshire. The Innertown Record.